Hello students, in this video we are going to study our next chapter, that is chapter number 8, class 6, subject science NCERT. The chapter name is body movements. In this chapter we are going to know about the different joints and about our body and skeleton of our body. So here let me start the chapter. Sit absolutely still. That means sit straight and do not do anything and observe the movements taking place in your body. You have to observe the movements that are taking place in your body. So you must be blinking your eyes time to time. Then after, observe the movement in your body as you breathe. As you breathe, some of your body parts are moving. So observe this movement, and then after, there are so many movements that happen in our bodies. So when you are writing in your notebook, which part of the body are you moving, or when you turn and look at your friend, so different parts of your body move while you remain at the same place in these examples. In these examples you are remaining at the same place, but you are moving only few of your body parts, and you also move from one place to another place, and you get up and you go to your teacher or the school compound or go to home after the school. So in these different movements are involved like walking, running, skipping, jumping, and move from place to place. So now let us see how the animals move from one place to another place by filling up in the table 8.1 after discussing with your friends, teachers and parents. These are some of the movements in us or in human. So now let we see about some of the movements in the different animals. Here Bhujaha wonders about movements in plants. He knows that they do not move from one place to another place, but do they show any other kind of movements? So yes, in the plants also the movements is there. They cannot place from one place to another, move from one place to another place, but there is also movement of water, then after nutrients take place in the plants also. So now let we see how do these animals move from one place to another place. Here two examples are given to you, that is for cow, that body part used for moving from place to place, that is legs, and then after how does this animal move? So by walking they are moving. So now let we see the answer for this table. Next is humans. So human use their legs to walk. Then after next one is snake. So snake use whole body to slither. Slither means to sleep. Snakes are moving like they are sleeping or they are crawling. Next is birds. So they are moving with their wings or legs, or they fly or walk. They can fly or they can also walk. Next one is insects. So they are using their wings, and some of the insects are also using their legs, and they can fly or also they can walk. Next is fish. So fish have fins and tail by which they can swim, and this is how they perform movement. Then last one is cockroach. So cockroaches have the legs or wings, and they can fly or they can also walk. So this is how they show movements. So this walk, run, fly, jump, then after creep, that means to walk on the stomach, and crawl, slither and swim. These are only a few of the ways in which animals move from one place to another. So why are there so many difference in the way the animals move from one place to another place? Why there is this much diversity or differences? Why is it that many animals walk while a snake slithers or crawls and a fish swims? So to find out the answers for some of this question, now let we see the first topic of our chapter, that is human body and its movement. How the movement take place in our body. So let us look closely at some of your own movements to begin with. Like before looking at all these varieties of movements in the animals, let we first see the movements in our body only. Do you enjoy doing physical exercise in your school? And how do you move your hands, legs while doing different exercise? Try some of them. So try this some of the movements from this our body is capable of, and bowl an imaginary ball at an imaginary wicket. Like you are playing a cricket and you are bowling, so like that bowl the imaginary ball at the imaginary wicket. And how did you move your arm? So while bowling, how did you move your arm? So did you rotate it at the shoulder in a circular movement, or did your shoulder also move? So you will find that you are moving your hand in the circular motion. So now then after lie down and rotate your leg at the hip. Rotate your leg like the hand. Bend your arm at the elbow and the leg at the knee, and stretch your arms sideways. Bend your arms to touch your shoulders with your fingers. Try this all exercise one by one. Bend your elbow, then after bend your leg from the knee, then after stretch your arms from the sideways and try to bend your arms and try to touch the shoulder. Which part of your arm did you bend? And observe this. Strengthen your arm and try to bend it downward. You are trying to bend your hand on the upward. Now try to bend your hand in the downward direction. Are you able to do it? So you will observe that you cannot bend your hand in the downward direction. So try to make the various parts of your body parts and record their movements in the next table, that is at table number 8.2. Here in this table, movements in our body, you have to note down the observation. The different body parts are given to you like neck, wrist, finger, knee, ankle, toe, back, head, elbow and arm. And you have to write that whether this part rotate completely or rotates partially, or it can only turns. Then after it can bend, it can lift or do not move at all. So now let me see the answer for these movements. So here the answer for the all the movements are given to you. Let me see for some of you. First one is neck. So you can see that neck, you cannot rotate it completely in the circular motion. It can rotate only partially, and it can bend, or you can also lift your neck and it has the movement. Then after next it is for wrist. Likewise that finger, knee, ankle, for all of the different body parts it is given to you. You can try this activity at on your own, and you can write your own observation in this table. So after observing this all movement, you will find that you are only able to move a few body parts easily in various direction, and some are only in the one direction. So why are we unable to move some parts at all or in all the direction, or we are not able to some parts in any of the direction? So why is it so? So for that, let me try one activity. Here activity number 1 is given to you. In this activity, you have to place a scale according to lengthwise on your arm, so that your elbow is in the center, like this one. You have to tie the scale like this, and ask your friend to tie the scale and your arm together, and now try to bend your elbow. And are you able to do it? After tying the scale like this, you have to try to bend the elbow. So you will notice that elbow cannot be bent, and we cannot bend the different parts of our body if no joints were present, and joints are very important for the movement. So from this activity we can say that here it is given to you that did you notice that we are able to bend our or rotate our body parts in places where two parts of our body seems to be joined together. If the two body parts are joined together, then only we are able to make we are able to bend that part, like elbow, shoulder or neck, and these places are called joints. That means if joints are there, then and only then we can able to bend these parts. So can you now name such joints? If our body has no joints, do you think it would be possible for us to move in any way at all? So We had already given the answer that if joints were not there, then we are not able to move any of the parts of our body. Now what exactly is joined together in this joint? So now the question is what is the exactly joined together in these joints? So for that, place your fingers against the top of your head or face, or you can also press on the against the neck, nose, ear or back of the shoulder, then after hands and legs, including the fingers and toes also. So did you get a feel of something hard pressing against your fingers? So that hard structures are the bones. And repeat this activity on the other parts of your body. So you will find that there are so many bones. So you will notice that bones cannot be bent as they are hard. And so how do we bend our elbow? So it is not only one bone from the upper arm to the wrist, it is the different bones which are joined together at the elbow. And because of this joint, we are able to bend our hand or arm. Similarly, there are many bones present in each part of the body, and we can bend or move our body only at this joint where bones meet. So this is how we can, or the movement or in the human beings make possible. So there are different types of joints in our body to help us and carry out different movements and activities. So now let us learn about some of these joints. So here about the first joint it is given to you, and it is ball and socket joint. So for that again one activity is given to you, that is activity number 2. For that you have to roll a strip of paper into a cylinder. You have to roll one paper into cylinder, then after make a small hole in an old rubber or you can say plastic ball, and then after push this paper cylinder into an bowl, and you have to do this under the supervision of your elder. Like here, this one is the paper cylinder and this one is the plastic rubber or bowl. So in that you have to make a hole, and then after you have to fix this paper cylinder in this bowl. Then after put this ball in a small bowl. Here it is shown to you. So now does the ball rotate freely inside this bowl? Try to rotate this ball with this cylinder. So does it able to move or rotate freely? And does the upper part or does the paper cylinder also rotate? So you will find that this ball is able to rotate freely. Now imagine that the paper cylinder, this one is your arm and the ball is the end of your arm. So the ball is like the part of the shoulder to which your arm is joined. This part represent the shoulder to which your arm is joined. So the rounded end of the one bone fits into the cavity or you can say hollow space of the other bone. So that means this ball or you can say hand or the bone of the hand is joined in the hollow space of the shoulder or the other bone, and such joint allows movements in all direction, and because of this joint the movements in the all direction can be possible. So now can you name some other joint you can think of? So yes, the hip bone and thigh bone are also joined together like this. Now recollecting the body movements we tried at the beginning of this section, by that you can say that the thigh as well as hip bone are also joined by this joint, that is ball and socket joint. Here it is also shown to you, that is this one is the thigh bone and this one is the hip bone. So these both are connected by the or joined by the ball and socket joint. So this is first type of joint, that is ball and socket joint. Now next is pivotal joint. So the joint where our neck joins the head is the pivotal joint. In the next figure it is shown to you. It allows us to bend our head forward, that means forward, backward, and turn the head to our right and left. We can move our head in 4 directions: upward, downward, forward, backward, and left, right. Try these movements, and how are these movements different from those of our arms that can rotate a complete circle in its ball. In the arms we can say that our arms is rotate in the whole circle, but our head cannot. And in a pivotal joint a cylinder bone rotates in a ring. Here it is shown to you, this one is the pivotal joint, and in this pivotal joint a cylindrical bone, a bone which has the cylindrical shape, it rotates in a ring. So this is how our head can be moved in the left, right and upward, forward and backward direction. So this is pivotal joint. Next is hinge joint. So open and close a door for a few minutes and observe the hinge of the door carefully. Hinge, that means the metallic part by which the door is connected to the wall. So that is known as the hinge. So observe at the hinge. So you will find that they allow the door to move for back and forth. That means it allows the door to move backward direction or in the forward direction. Now here, to understand this hinge joint, next activity is given to you, that is activity number 3. For this, let us look at the kind of movement allowed by a hinge. Make a cylinder with a cardboard or thick chart paper as shown in the figure 8.5, like this one, brown one. Make a paper cylinder thick of a thick cardboard like this. Then after, attach a small pencil to the cylinder by piercing the cylinder at the center, like this one. This one is the pencil. So fix this pencil on the cylinder, chart paper cylinder by the piercing the cylinder at the center. Then after, make a hollow half cylinder from the cardboard such that the rolled up cylinder can fit inside this half hollow cylinder, like this one, yellow. This one is the hollow half cylinder, and in which this brown cylinder can fit easily. The hollow half cylinder with the rolled up cylinder sitting inside it and allows the movement like a hinge. If we will now move this pencil in the different direction, like it is shown to you by arrow, if we will move the pencil in this direction, then this hollow or roll cylinder will rotate in this half hollow cylinder, like the hinge. So try to move the roll up cylinder. How does it move? How is this movement different from what we saw in our constructed ball and socket joint? We saw this kind of movements at the elbow in activity number 1. We had seen that in elbow this kind of movement is there and it is only half circular. What we have constructed in this figure is different from a hinge, of course, but it illustrates or it explains the direction in which hinge allows the movement. The elbow has a hinge joint that allow only a back and forth movement, that means backward and forward movement. Now can you think of more examples of such kind of joints which has these hinge joints? So you will notice that joints of elbow, other than that knee, toes and jaw also has this hinge joint. So these all parts has the hinge joints. Here in the figure, hinge joints of the knee is shown to you. So you know that we can move this knee up to this direction and this direction, that means backward and forward direction. So this is known as the hinge joints. Now next type of joint is fixed joint. So some joints between bones in our head are different from those we have discussed so far. Some are different from this all kind of joints. So the bones cannot move at this joint, and at this joint the bones which are joined together cannot move, and such joints are known as the fixed joint because they cannot move the other body parts or bones. And when you open your mouth wide, you can move your lower jaw away from your head, isn't it? If you had noticed, then if you open your mouth wide, you can move your lower jaw away from your head. Now try to move your upper jaw, and now are you able to move it? So you will notice that you cannot move your upper jaw. So there is a joint between the upper jaw and the rest of the head, which is known as the fixed joint. You cannot move your upper jaw. We discuss only some of the joints that can connect the parts of our body. So now what gives the different parts of the body the different shapes? We can see that our body parts has the different shape. So what gives these different shapes? So if you wanted to make a doll, what will you make the first? If you want to make the doll, picture of doll, what will you make first? So perhaps, or it may be that you will make first framework to give the doll shape before making its outer structure. You will first make the framework, that means hands, then after legs and head of the doll, and then after you will make the body of the doll. So all the bones in our body also form a framework to give a shape to our body. So same like that, in our body also all the bones make a framework to give the shape to our body. So this framework called the skeleton. This framework of the bones is known as the skeleton. Here in this figure, this is shown to you, that is skeleton of human body. Here you can see the head is there, legs are there, hands is there, then after chest is there, feet, all the parts or all the bones are shown here in this skeleton. So now let me know interesting fact about this human skeleton. So the human skeleton is composed of around 305 bones at birth. So that means at birth we have total 305 bones. The number of bones in the skeleton changes with the age, and with the age this number gets changed. It decreases to 206 bones by adulthood after some bones have fused together. After the birth, as till we reach adulthood, some of these bones get fused or mixed with each other, and at the adulthood we have total 206 bones. That means these bones get decreased as we are growing up. So in an adult there are the total number of bones are 206. So now how do we know that this is the shape of human skeleton, or how do we know the shapes of different bones in our body? We can have some idea about the shape and number of bones in some parts of our body by feeling them. We can get some idea about these bones by feeling the bones on our body, and one way we could know this shape better would be to look at the X-ray images of the human body. By X-ray images also we can get the idea about the shape of these bones. So now, did you or anyone in your family ever have an X-ray or any part of your body taken? So if you have, then you will get to know that sometimes when we are hurt or have an accident, doctors use these X-ray images to find out about any possible injuries that might have happened to the bones. And the X-rays shows also the shapes of the bones in our body. This X-ray shows the shapes of the bones in our body, or whether any injuries are there in the bones or not. So feel the bones in your forearm, upper arm, lower leg, then after upper leg, and try to find out the number of bones in each part of this your body. Similarly, then after feel the bones of your ankle, knee joints, and compare this with the X-ray images. So you will get to know that your ankle bones have the shapes like this, and your knee bones have the shapes like this one. So here it is shown to you the X-ray images of ankle and knee joints. So now bend your fingers. Are you able to bend them at every point? Try to do this. And how many bones does your middle finger have? Try to count it. And feel the back of your palm. It seems like to have many bones, isn't it? So is your wrist flexible? That means you can rotate your or you can move your wrist. It is made up of several small bones called carpales. If you will notice, then there are many bones are there on the back of your palm or in your hand. So these several small bones are called the carpales. And what will happen? Now imagine what will happen if it has only one bone. Then we cannot bend, we will not able to bend our fingers, so we will not be able to do any of the activity. We cannot write, we cannot drink water by our hand if there is only one bone in our hand. Here bones of the hand is shown to you. You can see that there are many bones in our hand. They are smaller in size, but there are many in numbers. Now here one another activity is given to you, that is activity number 4. For that, take a deep breath and hold it for a little while, and then after at that time only feel your chest bones and the back bones by gently pressing the middle of the chest and back at the same time, and count as many ribs, that means bones of the chest, as you can, and observe this carefully figure and compare with what you feel of the chest bone, what you feel about the chest bone. So you will notice that the chest bones are around of this size, or they are looks like this one, you will feel like this, and we see that the ribs are curiously bent, so that means they are bent from like this, and they join to the chest bone and the backbone together to form a box. This one is the chest bone and this one is the backbone. So these ribs are joined to these two bones to form like a box, and this is known as the rib cage. So entirely this one is known as the rib cage. There are total 12 ribs on each of the side of the chest. 12 this side and 12 is this side, so total 24 ribs are there, 12 on each side of the chest. And some important internal part of our body, they are placed or lie protected inside this cage, like lungs, then after heart. So they are protectively placed inside this rib cage. Now ask some of your friends to touch their toe without bending their knees. Starting from the neck, move your fingers downwards on the back of your friend, and what you will feel is the backbone. Starting from the neck to back, what you will feel, that is the backbone, and it looks like this one. It is shown to you here in this figure. This one, it is made up of many small bones called vertebra, and the backbone consists of total 33 vertebra. There are total 33 bones are there in the backbone, and the rib cage is joined to these bones. And if backbone was made up of only one long bone, will your friend be able to bend? So no, if this backbone will be made up of only one single bone, then we will not be able to bend or to sit down, or we cannot be able to sit, as well as we will not lift anything that is fallen on the floor. It is made up of 33 small vertebra. It makes us the movement of our back, as well as because of this only we can bend from the neck to back. Now make your friend stand with both hands pressed to the wall and ask her to push the wall. And notice these two bones on the back are prominent, or you can say main, where the shoulders are. So they are called the shoulder bones. If you will try to push the wall, then on the back of you will find two main bones like this one. One is here and one is here. So this is known as the shoulder bones. Then after, observe the next figure carefully here, this one. This structure is made of pelvic bone. This is known as the pelvic bones. They enclose the portion of your body below the stomach. Below the stomach, the portion is covered by these bones, and this is the part you sit on. So this is also one kind of bones. The next one is about the skull. So this one. So the skull is made up of many bones joined together, and it encloses the protects the very important part of our body, that is brain. It protects and encloses the brain. We discuss many bones and joints in our skeleton. There are some additional parts of the skeletons are also there. So these additional parts of the skeleton that are not as hard as bones and which can be bent. So these are known as the cartilage. The part of the body which is not as hard as bones and they can bend, so that part is known as the cartilage. So for that, feel your ear. Do you find any hard bony part is there in the ear, and can you bend the ear? So you will find that you will be able to bend your ear. So do not seem to be any bone here, isn't it? Do you notice anything different between the earlobe and the portion above it? As you press them between your finger. So this one is the upper layer and this one is the earlobe. So if you will press this, you will find the difference between these two. So you do feel something in the upper parts of the ear that is not as soft as earlobe but not as hard as the bone. This part is not as hard as the bone and not as soft as the earlobe. So this is known as the cartilage, and cartilage is also found in the joints of the body. This is also found in the joints of the body. And we have seen that our skeleton is made up of many bones, then after joints and cartilage. And you could feel, bend and move the many of these parts. Now draw neat figure of the skeleton in your notebook. So we have learned that about bones in our body and about joints that help us move in different ways. Now what makes the bones move the way they do? That means if the bones or these joints are moving upward in the direction or in the forward direction, then why these bones are able to move in such direction? So for that, make a fist with one hand and then after bend your arm at the elbow and touch your shoulder with the thumb. Try to touch the shoulder with the thumb. So do you see any change in your upper part of the arm? Touch it with your other hand. So do you observe the swollen region in the upper arm? So this is known as the muscle. Here in this figure it is shown to you, these red ones are known as the muscle. So this muscle bulks, or you can say be swollen or increase in the size due to the contraction. Contraction, that means the length will be reduced. Now bring your arm back to its normal position. What happens to this muscle? Is it still contracted or swollen? You will notice that it will be in its original size. So you can observe that similar contraction of muscle in your legs when you walk or run. So when contracted, the muscle becomes shorter. Here you can see that the muscle becomes shorter, stiffer, that means hard and thicker, and it pulls this bone upward direction, in the upward direction. And muscle works in pair. You will find all this muscle in a pair. You will find the muscles in the pair like first and second, 1 and 2. So these are working in a pair. When one of them contracts, the bone is pulled in that direction. When this one is contract, the bone is pulled in this direction, and at the same time the other muscle of the pair, this one will get relaxed. To move the bone in the opposite direction, the relaxed muscle, if you want to bend this arm in the downward direction, then this muscle will get contract and this muscle will get relaxed to bring it in the original position. A muscle can only pull and it cannot push any of the bone. So thus two muscles have to work together to move a bone like this, and are muscles and bones always required for the movement? Now question is that, and how do other animals move? Do all animals have bones? And what about an earthworm or a snail? So let us study the manner of movement, that is the gait of some animals. So that we will study in our next video. So till now we had seen in the movement in the human body and the skeleton of human body, cartilage and muscles. Now in the next video we will study the remaining part of this chapter. Thank you.